Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Merhaba. First, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this conference. Special mention should be for Mr. Adnan Tanravaredi and his wife, and Mini Ipek, who recommended me to this conference. I am very honored to be part of this ASSAM Congress. Thank you. Now, yes, I've been asked to make it brief. So I will start off with Islamic finance in Malaysia, and I will tell you about the experiences that we have in Malaysia and how Islamic finance has been useful to us. In Malaysia, Islamic finance is comprehensively defined to include the components or the sectors like Islamic banking, Islamic insurance, Islamic capital market, Islamic wealth management, then we have halal industry, and as well as wakaf. So all of these are the new engines of growth for Malaysia. So a lot of people think that Islamic finance is only about prohibitions. You're not allowed to have riba and also ghara and maisir, but it's more than that, because it's promoting entrepreneurship. And in the case of Malaysia, it's actually a vehicle to enhance cooperation, economic cooperation between Islamic states, as well as to promote unity amongst trading nations. And this has been, we have a very good example where we have been cooperating with Thailand, which is a member of ASEAN, and we use sukuk. I will show you the example. We have all this formula, you know, in Islam, where we are supposed to prosper our neighbors, and it is the formula to have a good collaboration with other nations. And of course, you know what is in the Quran, where you are asked to be kind to your neighbor, and that's a Quranic verse. And we have the Prophet ﷺ, who says that whoso has faith in Allah and the hereafter should honor his neighbor. So we in the Islamic Union are all neighbors, and we are supposed to help one another. Right, so we have the divine principles on wealth even, okay? So wealth cannot be hoarded or monopolized by a few, nor can the poor be exploited. Wealth of a nation cannot be destroyed due to bribery, corruption, or excessive spending. And we have a very good example of Malaysia, where the former Prime Minister has actually hoarded wealth and destroyed the nation, and we have a massive budget. Wealth must be generated in a Sharia-compliant manner and circulated in the hands of many people as possible through the mechanisms of taxation, zakat, wakaf, sadaqah, and inheritance. How we do? So let's see. This is an example of Malaysia in an economic cooperation platform, which is ASEAN. We have all these members, 10 members. And the ASEAN's aims, of course, economic growth, social progress, socio-cultural evolution, and then protection of regional peace and stability, and create opportunities for member countries to discuss differences peacefully. Right, yes, so this is something that the Union can learn from ASEAN, because when we actually admitted new members, there was a developmental divide. So there were rich countries and poor countries. So we have to integrate them. And then we found that there were disparities in the per capita GDP, and then disparities in life expectancy, and also literacy rates. So what the response was to have this initiative for ASEAN integration, and actually to close the developmental the divide, I mean. Right, so this is a case study where this is an actual achievement. This is, Thailand is our neighbor, and then we actually went into a joint venture with them through Petronas, our petroleum national company. And then we issued the TTM Sukuk Berhad to be the SPV or funding vehicle, and to build 2 gas pipelines to transport natural gas from the Malaysia-Thailand development area in the Gulf of Thailand to the industrial city of Rayong in Thailand. Now, why this is so important was that in Thailand, there was a lot of social unrest. Thailand, the south of Thailand, we have a lot of Muslims. They were actually part of Malaysia before, part of Malaya. And then the north, they were richer, the south, they were poorer. And so there was this income disparity gap. So there was social unrest and all that. So when we have this sukuk in that particular area, all the developments went down to the south, okay? So it actually created employment in the southern region of Thailand, dominated by Muslims who were in poverty. And then it closed the disparity gap between the richer north and poorer south. It created social justice and greater social harmony between the Buddhists and Muslims. And this is an example of a Muslim minority country, and we have achieved it through the Islamic capital market or sukuk. And then we also help Thailand to develop their halal industry. Okay, and so this is what happened. We set up the Central Islamic Council of Thailand, the Halal Standard Institute of Thailand, the Halal Science Center, and also the Halal Forensic Laboratory. This is what we mean by the economic cooperation. All right, our CAF is a potential area which has yet to be explored in Thailand. Okay, so it is shown in the 2 cases that sukuk and halal industry have helped to alleviate poverty amongst the poorer Muslims in the southern parts of the country. It has helped Thailand to socially integrate their people, leading to political stability in the region. Social justice leads to social harmony and peace in the region. So, can Islamic finance be used as a vehicle to promote unity amongst trading nations and cross-border partners? The answer is yes. Because Islamic finance is a game changer. Islamic finance has provided new rules which are ethically and morally grounded, new behavioral patterns which require man to be united under a Tawhidic unifier, for man to be God-conscious and human-centric. We do not believe in the survival of the fittest, just like the capitalist states. We believe that we should share. Okay, this is something that my colleague has, you know, all right? Okay. So, and all these behavioral patterns are from the Quran and Sunnah, okay? That's done. So, to sum up, when all these divine values are combined and adhered to, the Islamic State will comprise one vast, homogeneous commonwealth of people who have a common goal and a common destiny, and who are guided by a common ideology in all matters, both temporal and spiritual. Divine principles governing commercial, economic, social, and political relations should form the basis of any economic cooperation amongst Islamic countries. So when commonly shared values are observed by Islamic countries, it can create a common economic system. Economic cooperation can then be pursued on economic grounds, on common grounds. Now, Islamic finance, divinely sourced core principles should be used to provide the common benchmarks for all Islamic nations to apply in their commercial dealings for unity of purpose and uniformity in practice and certainty of outcome. Now, if the Islamic finance core principles are implemented sincerely, it will provide the common Islamic benchmarks for a new socio-economic order which seek to prevent exploitation, monopoly, bribery, and corruption, excessive spending and hoarding of wealth, and a high value is placed on honest and transparent dealings, profit and loss sharing, risk sharing, and where every Muslim is mandated to respect the sanctity of contracts. So if Muslims in an Islamic union are economically empowered in a unified way, it will accelerate economic growth, social progress, and socio-cultural evolution among its members. Equitable treatment of members in a union will lead to social justice, which encourages pragmatic and not fanatical behavior or extremism, and protects regional peace and stability, and provides a fertile ground for differences to be discussed peacefully. Well, I have a few recommendations, but if you want to do cross-border trading, this is what you have to do. Of course, the first thing you have to do is to remove the restrictions to trade, okay? You have to create a level playing field. Thirdly, there must be legal and regulatory certainty. Fourthly, I'm recommending a global Waqf fund or international Waqf bank to be set up through the Islamic Development Bank to alleviate poverty in underdeveloped Islamic countries and to give needy entrepreneurs and students greater access to funds for startups and scholarships respectively. Also to help rebuild war-torn Islamic nations and to give humanitarian aid. A united and concerted approach is needed to alleviate poverty, economically empower emerging Islamic nations, bridge the gap between poorer and richer Islamic nations through integration programs to ensure social harmony. Thank you very much. That's all.